season now over, how would you kind of assess the progress he made, and like what are you looking forward to working with him in the future on?
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten there yet. We're dialed into Minnesota, ready to give everything I got to these guys for this week. So, honestly, I have not reflected yet, if that's the word you're looking for, what you're looking for. Excited about this opportunity, excited for Nate to go out there and have some opportunities for himself. So,
Luke, how do you go about evaluating the Detroit game with Justin? Obviously, there were a lot of, he gets hurt, whether there was issues up front or the game getting away. I mean, like, how do you kind of go through a game like that with him?
Yeah, no, just like any other game. First 3 drives were pretty good drives. After that, I didn't think he played very well. In the past game, we finished that first half. He threw a great ball to Cole. We lost the completion. We lost the protection on the very next play, or else, he put his eyes in the right place and he was about to rip it to BP, who was open. We just were able to miss it. The protection kind of got to him, and then it was kind of like after that, we didn't really execute really well as an entire unit. It wasn't just him, I shouldn't say, but and so that was a little bit disappointing. But take the fumble that he had, or the strip fumble. Those types of plays, like we gotta, he snaps the ball, they're in one coverage, catches the ball, they rotate to a different coverage. He's got to then play the play with better instincts. So there's a ton of things that we got to grow from those types of opportunities, and so that game gets evaluated just like every other game. Again, we're not going to make excuses about the way a protection is or the way routes were. We all have a job to do, and everybody will be evaluated for that.
Luke, yesterday, Matty Eberflus said that one of the things that he'd like to see Justin Fields in the offense improve on is rhythm and timing. Do you agree with that, and how does that get better?
Well, are you reflecting on Detroit? Is that where do we?
No, he was talking about the offseason. Matt was talking about the offseason yesterday, and I'm wondering your opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's real. Rhythm, timing, all that stuff's important to you as a whole. I mean, if there's in the passing game, that's all we ever really talk about is timing and rhythm. Receivers got to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. The quarterback's feet have to match the progression of the play. So all that stuff is really important for us to go through.
I have a question about you. What did you learn last year from talking to Denver for the head coaching job?
Did I learn? It was cool. I got to be exposed to kind of the bigger picture of everything, so that was a really good opportunity. I thought those people in Denver were outstanding. It kind of gets you on that thought process of bigger picture, and actually helped prepare me for this opportunity, to be honest with you, because I've always viewed it as when you're the quarterback coach, you're the head coach of the quarterbacks, when you're the receiver coach, you're the head coach of the receivers, and you're the offense coordinator, you're the head coach of the offense, and so that was pretty cool to kind of get yourself aligned and ready to go for your thought processes and how you would lead a team.
Did you sit down, did it kind of make you sit down and say, okay, what do I believe? Let's write this down, or did it help organize your thoughts? Is that kind of what you
Sure, yeah, I think I do that anyway, but I think just more bigger picture. That was a good opportunity for me to do that.
Luke, in the first 4 games of the season, what we thought was a rough month for Justin, you saw things in him that we did not, that others did not, and he improved. Overall, what do you see in him looking ahead that maybe the numbers don't show that indicate he will be a better quarterback next season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we do is that we continue to challenge every player, and Justin for sure. So every day we come in, we're going to challenge them, we're going to demand things from them, and as long as we see growth, we know that we're in the right path. And so when you reflect on those questions that you guys gave me, that's what I saw every day. I continue to see that, and so as we go into next year, now he's had this experience, he's had these opportunities to get more comfortable with the communication of the system, hopefully get more comfortable with the people around him. And so all that stuff, anytime you can get that cohesiveness of the unit together and knowing what the culture looks like, and he's the leader of that culture, I think all that stuff is all promising stuff. So
where is the growth? What growth do you see that is so, that gives you...
I just joked about it before. I just said, just take his press conferences at the beginning of the year to his press conferences at the end of the year, right? He's sitting there telling you about every single play. He told you we had a trick play. I'm like, come on, dude, you can't do that. You can't go out in the public and say a trick. And so, no, just that becoming a pro, the leadership, you guys talked about, I think you got challenged last week with, what happened with Chase on the sideline, and he handled that. Like, that's him becoming the leader of the football team and being a great pro and consistent every day. I think that's the most important thing. And then all the other stuff, those guys see every day on the practice field. They see him getting better every day. So the results of it, the statistics that everyone's looking for, those will come, and we know that. But like I said, the most important thing is that we continue to see growth.
Do you have a full enough menu of passing plays from him this season, even though the numbers are where they are right now, to evaluate the areas, like to see tangible growth and stuff that you could build on next year?
For sure, because I think it's not just what you see in the game. I think you have to think of that too. I think the way that we challenge him every day in practice, from the off season to training camp to the season, we go into the games and we try to find the best way to win the game. And so we make sure that we're challenging him in every possible way when we get the opportunity. The amount of situational football we do in practice is extraordinary from anywhere else I've been, and so all that exposure has been really good for him.
How challenging is this week? Just because of essentially today's your first full practice with Nathan Peterman getting him ready. Is it extra challenging because of that?
No, Nate's ready to go. I mean, those guys know Nate's ready to go. Nate's a pro now, so that part of it, no. I think as much as anything, we've been in this room and had these discussions more about who's going to play and whatever, right? So I think the preparation, the guys will nail it. Everyone's hearts are heavy with DeMar. I think that as much as anything is something that these players have to overcome and deal with.
Talk about instincts and instincts needing to be better. Is that something that can only be grown and continue to develop from games? Is there anything that can be done? Obviously, practice things, but is it, when you talk about instincts needing to be better, is that something that Justin just needs to see happen?
Yeah, I think it's, you take it from the classroom, you take it to the practice field, and then you apply it in the games. And so as long as he's proven that he knows what to do. He's proven in practice that he can apply. And then as you get to the real game experience, you talk about the real speed and the coverage is changing, or the pressure that's happening, or whatever, something that changes, and then being able to in a split second apply it appropriately. Yes, that's definitely experience that he didn't have and he got a lot of this year. And so hopefully we continue to grow on that.
We were talking about Justin, how he's grown from week 1 to now. But what do you know now that you didn't know in week 1 as an offensive coordinator? How do you think he's grown?
Oh, you're talking about personally, you're saying? Oh, yeah. For sure. No, I think the experience that I got was throughout this entire year has been awesome. The things that happen unexpectedly, the situational football that shows up, that you continue to change your preparation for, and then injuries or anything like that. All those sudden change type moments, those are the ones that you just continue to get better at as the season got along.
You kind of describe your feelings about DeMar Hamlin if you were watching it in real time and just what you were feeling.
Yeah, I was not watching it in real time. We were in a game plan meeting. We kind of pulled ourselves out of it because we were told about it, and then it kind of shut us down a little bit the rest of that night. Obviously, like it did most people. So it was. I'm from Pittsburgh too, so like a lot of people I know that know him personally too, and so scary scene. The guys were just telling me some positive news this morning in the meetings because they're checking up on him like as much as anything, and so that was really good to hear and positive and hoping and prayed for him for sure.
When you zoom out on the whole season, I think a lot of people can see the progress that you guys made, the stretch of games where you guys scored 30 points, at least 30 points. Well, but when you look back on it, you still see that you were dead last in passing yards. How do you look on it? Like, how do you evaluate that or explain it?
Yeah, no, I to be totally honest with you, I don't look at it like I don't look and see that we're first in rushing, and I don't look at it and see we're last in passing. I really don't evaluate it each week like that. I think as the season ends and I begin to evaluate, how we can grow as a team and where we need to go, that balance has to happen, yes. I think that to be sustainably good, you have to have more balance, and that's real. We know that. But we look at each individual on our team and we say, what's the best way for us to win a game? And we're going to take that approach every single week as long as I'm here.
Luke, obviously with Justin, his ability to extend plays and make something out of nothing is part of what makes him special for you guys. But when you're coaching him up, whether it's on the sidelines or in film, how do you balance the messaging between yes, we want you to extend this play. Yes, we want you to be special, but, here you can't take this sack or you're holding on to the ball too long or here, just throw it away and live for another down. How do you balance those two things?
Yeah, no, that's part of the uniqueness of coaching guys that are special in a bunch of different ways. Like, I was fortunate to coach a guy at my last stop that he doesn't see things like everybody else does. And so you work through that in the sense of, like, okay, what's your why? Why did you do it? Communicate, and he communicates that more clearly than any person, and human being in the world. And so what's cool about Justin is he's kind of on that path, to be honest with you. He has his whys. He sees what he sees, and he's able to communicate that. And so and then all you do is you just reflect, okay, the process tells you this, now we need to apply it. And then you never ignore instincts. There's a lot of plays, right? I think I said this to you guys in here, that you start off in April and May and June, and you grind them into the process and the progression. And then once it's time to play, it's time to let the player bring it to life. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, call this play, and if it's one high, you're doing this, and if it's two high, you're doing this. And then he goes out and he says, well, the leverage in the one high was this, so I was working that all day. That's like he's making a decision for a reason, and so those conversations have been really good.
Coach, in your last spot, you guys had a clear number one wide receiver. Here, you kind of ended up with a cluster of guys who could, any given week, lead you in receiving. What's the different challenge in terms of preparation from a coaching standpoint, but also from a quarterback standpoint, when you do have that clear-cut number one versus when you have a group of 3 or 4 guys?
I don't want to just dial into where it has to be a clear-cut number one, but I think it's the quarterback-receiver relationship is critical. I think that establishing that, having that consistently each and every week is critical to both of their successes. I think when you're throwing the football, usually the person's not where they're supposed to be already. And so the anticipation of body movements and angles and depths and how a guy reacts to a particular leverage that he's faced, I think all that stuff and having those reps behind it is vital. It's the most critical thing to the passing game. And so I think it's, when there's not, I don't want to limit it to just has to just be a number one receiver, but I think it's probably more valuable to say, okay, these are my consistent guys or guy or whatever that you're throwing to each and every week.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say happy birthday. I hope she's listening, Miss McCaskey. I saw that it's her 100th year, and so that's a huge deal. So happy birthday to her. And then I want to say, I'm not sure if I would be asked, but I'd like to say that I'm praying for the DeMar and his family and the doctors. Without making a whatever statement, I do believe in prayer. I really do. And so I've been praying for the family. We have been praying for the family, the doctors, the team, and with all the, I would say, negative things that may go on in our world, it was nice to see that through some adversity, through some tragedy, that I was encouraged about the prayers. I was encouraged about the different positive things that have come out of it. So I do know this, that I said this maybe in the first conference, that I still think the NFL is the best sport in the world. And you see how our fans, you see how our players, you see how our coaches, you see how our media come together when there's adversity and support people. So that was encouraging to me. So with that, I'll open it up to your questions.
With that in mind, what have you observed from your players in the last 48 hours or so, and their understandable feelings about still having to go out and play another football game on Sunday?
Yeah, it ran the gamut. There were some of our guys that were close to the young man, and some guys that didn't know him, and our players got calls from a lot of calls as I did, asking about the situation. And I do think that everyone processes troubling situations differently. So it gave our players a We gave our players a platform to talk through what they were feeling in meetings and individually with professionals and people that don't deal with that on a normal basis, meaning coaches. It was a tough few days, especially if you saw it live. But as always, I do think that you see I always like to look at the positive of things. You saw the way that players cared about each other. They talked to each other. Some of the older guys took the younger guys under their wing like you would expect, talked to them, walked them through it. Our people here we have some people here that are professionals in that realm, and you see how they just come in and the way they do their job with compassion. I just go, wow. I just go, wow. So that was the last couple of days.
Were you watching at the time, kind of thinking like there's no way they can play the game?
I was not watching. I got a text from my wife, and got a text from my boys. So they go, Dad, did you see that? And we're game planning on Mondays, so I did not see it live. So I didn't really know about all the happenings until the next day. So when everything had already, transpired.
On the defensive side of the ball, obviously, having to a defender, how do you talk to the group? How do you try and bring the guys together?
Yeah, just by communicating. There's some guys that were kind of like me. They go, "Hey, I'm a man, and I'm a grown man, and I've been grown up to be tough, and I'll handle it by myself." and that's kind of how I'd say, "Hey, I don't need to express my feelings. I'll handle it by myself." And then some other guys go, "Hey, I want to talk to someone." And then some of the other guys are like, "I'm not quite sure. I'll process this whenever the feelings come up." And then one of the things that we talked about was that everyone handles it differently, and if you need someone to talk to, that is not a sign of weakness. And so we made sure that we threw that up there, that a lot of times people go, hey, the stronger you are, the more that you can do it on your own. But one of our sayings around here is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so we want to go far and we want to go together. So that's a time when we do come together to support one another. And, the great thing about our organization here is it's not just a head coach thing. That is a GM thing from Ryan Poles, and that is a top-down thing from Mr. McCaskey, that same philosophy that we look after each other, we take care of each other, that if you are a bear, you're a bear for life. So to me, that's a comforting feeling, knowing that you have support, and it's not just now or when you can do something for me, or it's for life. So, yeah.
How well is this defense set up to be better next year? Because you spent this whole year kind of installing a new scheme, instilling the hits principle, and I would imagine the numbers are not to your standard.
No, not at all. And that's and I would say this: there are a lot of chatter out there. Well, not to the standard because of, or not to the standard because these things have transpired, or these things that have happened. I would say that it's not to our standard no matter what happens. So we will continue to build, and sometimes when you're building or you're setting a foundation, the results don't come right away. And what we don't want to do is be a microwave organization to say, hey, the results better come right now, and we'll make these changes that are. And I don't want to say irrational, but we were going to make changes in the mindset that we want it to happen right now. We're not like that. We're going to sometimes when you don't get the results you want, it causes you to be impatient, and it causes you to make decisions that aren't for the long haul. So with that said, that we're going to continue to, we believe in what we're doing, we believe in the system, we believe in the hits principle, and we're going to stay true to what we do. There's some things that aren't, that we're not going to compromise on, and just keep building, keep working, keep building, keep working, keep building, keep working.
So if you have patience this year, next year it should happen, right? We should see results.
Well, everyone wants to put a timeline on it. Hey, it should happen by game 4, or it should happen by game 6. But I'm not going to put a timeline on it. I'm not going to let anyone nail me down to game 1, game 2, game 3. It happens as it happens, and it happens as you build it. And we're going to keep staying true to it and keep working at it.
I'm sorry, but what do you see that maybe we don't that tells you there's going to be an improvement next year?
Yeah, I see guys improving at little by little. As we talk about this, Kyler Gordon has gotten better. Eddie, before he got hurt, was I'd say that Eddie should have been in the Pro Bowl. Brisker is playing very, very well. Before Jack Sanborn got hurt, he was a topic of discussion each week, and we said, hey, he looks like a real starting linebacker. So there are pieces in there when you say individually that can play winning football. And so when I do think I feel encouraged about those pieces and those pieces being together. And so I do see that next year the results will be better.
What does Dominique Robinson have to do in your mind to get to the next level?
Yeah. In the well, what does he have to do to the next level? This year, as we just moving forward, yeah. Go away. When he goes away, he's going to go away with the idea that he's going to change his body around a little bit for a 17, 18, 19, 20 game season. And so your body has to be ready to do that. So that's one piece. Coming in, knowing what you have ahead of you, that's another piece. That everything is not a new experience. So we do see Dominique getting better game by game, but their experience is that he goes, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now, and I've experienced that. Not just, hey, I saw it in practice, you told me about it, but I've experienced it. So every experience won't be a new experience, and I do think that when that happens, on top of your body being bigger, your body being stronger, that you'll get a better product from him.
What do you guys, in the off-season, when the front office brings you film of free agents or draft picks, potential draft picks, can you tell on film whether somebody fits the hits system or not?
The ones that fit, yes, you can tell. The ones that fit, yes, you can tell, because they play fast, they play hard, they play with stamina, they are quick twitch, they're run and hit players, and so you can tell those things. It's the guys that maybe those things aren't required of them, and you don't want to. My sons can pick out the no-brainers. They can find the no-brainers. Anybody in the room can find the no-brainers. The art of it is finding the guys that don't play like our guys play, and then you have to delve in a little bit deeper, because the pool of the hits principle is about this big, but you need this many guys. So you have to find some guys that you say, hey, what can they be? That's the art in the recruiting process, or the art in the scouting process, or the art in the evaluation process, to say, what can they be? And so that's the hard part. Do these guys have the stomach, the heart, the will to do what we're going to ask them to do on the football field?
Alan, Josh Blackwell got a little bit of playing time here at the end.
Yes.
What did you see from him, and how could he potentially fit into what you want to build next season?
Well, he is a hits principle guy. He's fast. He hits. He likes football. That's one thing. Hey, do they like football? Because when you ask them to do something that we're asking them to do on a consistent basis, they gotta like football. So he does that. He is intelligent. So all he needs is more seasoning, more playing time, that type of thing. And I do think that that Josh is one of the guys that did improve over the course of his short time starting in the NFL. He always ran to the football in terms of on special teams. He did some really good things there, and you just want to see if those things will continue to translate on to the defensive side of the ball. They started to before he got hurt, so that's another guy that we're encouraged about.
Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you guys. I've enjoyed coming down here this past season, getting to know all of you guys. Really got a lot of respect for what you do and the stories you write and how you help people, not only our players, but entertain our fans. So we don't take that for granted. I don't take this opportunity coming down here for granted. So I just want to say thank you to you guys for all the great work you do. Also, it's a very special day in our organization. You guys know it's Ms. McCaskey's 100th birthday, so happy birthday to her. Shouts out to her from the specialist crew. Obviously, they wanted me to say that. And then lastly, as you guys know, we're all praying for DeMar and his family and his teammates and his coaches. So with that, just open up to questions.
Coach, what did you like on the long return that you guys got right before halftime? And did you think there was an opportunity for it to even be even bigger than that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Coach. That's a great question. What I like about that return is when I say I'm talking about Halas. He stemmed it really well, but his blockers did an outstanding job of getting back, getting to their landmarks, playing penalty-free on that play, stepping to contact, keeping their hands inside, and it really timed up nicely. Did I think there was an opportunity for a bigger play there? I did. We just had one more guy we had to get, and as Halas probably told you guys already, he probably needed to attack the kicker just a little bit more to create himself more room on the sideline. Kind of if you keep stretching it, you make the sideline an extra defender where if you can attack the kicker, then you can skinny him up, maybe get him to stop his feet, and then you'll have more room for yourself. So we could have the guys did an outstanding job there. We probably could have did a better job getting to one more person and attacking the kicker more, and it probably would have been 6 points. But again, that's what drives us. We're looking for an opportunity to go out there and try to make another big play.
What's the detail of attacking the kicker there? What does he got to do to make that click?
So as a kicker usually has an angle on you coming to the sideline, like if I could demonstrate it or just show you this way, he's coming here. Let's say the sideline is here where the water bottle is. So the more he goes here, the kicker can use the sideline as an extra defender. We want him to come this way so the kicker has to decide if he'll cut back or not. And then when he does that and the kicker does that, then he should be faster than the kicker to go by him and create more space for himself, even though it's not there. I get, does that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
On a day like Sunday where you get a lot of kickoff opportunities, what's this collective decision process of green light, yellow light, red light in those situations? Obviously, all those kicks are going in the end zone, but you hit a big one. Was there discussion about trying to turn the light green a little bit more?
Yeah, on that one, it was right before the half. Coach Eberflus and the guys upstairs as well did a phenomenal job letting us know what the situation is. That's one thing Coach Flus doesn't get enough credit for. He's out in front of a lot of situations. So I was able to talk to the guys and let them know exactly what we were doing and how we were going to have to be deeper, because the kick probably was going to travel further. In this sense, I don't think all of the balls will be in the end zone this week. And even if it is in the end zone, they can always bring it out. It just depends on the hang time on the ball. So like Halas told you guys, like sometimes those balls are up there real high. And if they're up there really high and the coverage team is inside the 10-yard line before he touches the ball, he's not going to get past the 20. And we're not going to put the offense in that type of situation. But if it's good, we're going to bring it out. And you guys seen, like, they've been very successful in kick return, and we just got to keep doing that. So they're making great decisions and they're making great blocks, and we got to continue to do that to help our football team.
Did we see something unlock with Halas Jones on kick returns? I mean, is he there now?
I would never say any player is there. I just would say that the guys, there's always room for improvement, as there is in coaching, as there is in everything. But he's definitely trending arrow up in a really good direction. And his blockers, I can tell you they enjoy blocking for him. Like, it's different when you have a guy back there that you know that can go to the house. People really enjoy blocking for him. So that's been outstanding. And again, we got a hell of a challenge this week versus Minnesota. As you know, that kick returner they have is phenomenal. So we're looking forward to playing him. So we'll see who the best kick returner is on Sunday. But we got a good challenge coming up.
What have you learned about Bayless, just the way he's handled, losing the punt return job and just keeping his mind going forward and the attitude that he's brought?
Yeah, I think what I learned, most of it was more of a confirmation. But what I learned, and he confirmed what we already knew, is that he was a really strong kid with a really great personality. Guy doesn't swing high, he doesn't swing low, very even keel. I know and learned that he was a fighter, and he continues to fight, and he has tremendous character, and that he's going to work. And his teammates should know he's going to work as hard as he can to try to get it right. And even when he fails, he's going to find a silver lining in that and try to bring something out positive, which is what you want all your guys to be. And I think that's the character of our locker room. I think that's why they've continued to fight the way they have during the last challenging stretch. So.
Who embraced the role of special teamer and produced beyond expectations the most this season?
I expect them all to achieve high, so I don't know if anybody performed beyond expectation, but I will say there are some guys that have performed really well. Josh Blackwell, he performed extremely well. Elijah Lee has been a great addition to us so far. DHC is always a consummate pro. He's done a phenomenal job. I think Trent Gill has done a really nice job this year, along with the rest of the core. I could go on and on about it, but Jalen Jones and some of those guys we lose, they go to defense. Sanborn, some of those guys we lose, but we also like that because our job is to develop players. On special teams, you have to take the bottom end of the roster, back end of the roster. Some of them really want to play special teams, some of them really don't. So here we're fortunate because our guys do, but you have to find ways to motivate them, to develop them, to get them ready so that they're ready for their opportunity on offense and defense. And, that's like the best thing to me in the world when we can help a guy's career keep elevating. So that's what I've enjoyed most about this year, and those are just a couple guys to answer your question, and I'm expecting more guys to show up. No, go ahead.
When Dante went down, we saw Treston Ebner replace him on punt returns. Just wondering what went into the decision to make Ebner that guy and maybe not to give the opportunity to Bayless to try punt returns again?
Yeah, so we have confidence in all our guys. We have confidence in Bayless. We wanted to see what Ebb could do in that situation. So we have confidence in every single one of them. If we had another opportunity, Josh Blackwell maybe was going to go back there because he does it too. So we have confidence in every single one of them, and all of them are doing a good job. So it's just next man up. And at the time, Ebner was the next man up.
What was it about Ebner that you wanted to see him specifically in that role?
Yeah, just his playmaking ability he's done in practice, the way he's been feeling the ball, the decisions that he's been making, his attention to detail. We thought he deserved an opportunity to go back. So I'm happy he got that opportunity.
I assume you liked his block on the kick return, too?
Loved it. Loved his block. He actually got two blocks on that one. Yeah, so the first one was a really good block. It was a good legal block, good contact, knocked the guy down, obviously, and then his effort on that play. You look at it and it has hits principle all over it. Just hustling and intensity and finishing. It was phenomenal to see. And he finished down the field and turned up a gear and passed two or three more guys up to come and block. So really excited about Ebner and where he's headed.
Coach, oftentimes head coaches are former OCs, DCs. What is it about special teams coordinators in terms of the responsibility, the skill set that allows you all to be prepared to be head coaches? And why don't you think you guys get more opportunities coming straight from special teams?
That's a good question, Herb. I don't know the answer to why not. There's a lot of speculation on that. What I can say is the guys that have become head coaches, the Bill Belichick's that come from special teams that have coached a little defense as well, John Harbaugh, Dick Vermeil, all successful, really successful coaches that have coached it. I think what they will tell you in conversations that we've had over times with those guys is that you deal with the whole roster. You have to teach every player. You deal with a skill set that is probably not as talented as the number one or number two receiver, but you still have to get them to perform, and you're the only person speaking in front of the team every day. If you're a position coach, you just talk to the receivers or the quarterbacks. If you're an offensive coordinator, you normally just talk to the offense. Well, a special teams coach has to be on top of the situations, the rules, game management has to be in the hip pocket with the head coach and has to make decisions to help the benefit of the football team. And you have to know, like, if a guy gets nicked up, how you can't use another player because you might only have 2 running backs left for the game. Something that you might have to not do if you were a position coach because it's a 1-for-1 swap. When you lose one guy on special teams, you might lose a guy in 4 or 5 different positions. And you just have to be able to manage that. And thank God we have Coach Polk. He's phenomenal at that. And it's not a knock against position coaches. I've coached on offense and coached on defense in this league. So I like offense and defense, but I just really enjoy being able to touch all of the guys. So I don't know the answer to why, but I do know there's a strong argument for guys that manage a whole team and help a message. That's the closest thing to a head coach as a special teams coordinator, to be honest with you.
Devin Hester's a finalist for the Hall of Fame. For people on the panel who might be on the fence because he's a special teamer, why should they vote for him? What's the best argument?
That's a great question too, Mark. I think for the Hall of Fame, if you want to talk about what the Hall of Fame is supposed to represent, it's supposed to represent the best players at their position, the best players that ever played the game. And I don't think there's a question that Devin is the best player in a returner position, in a combo returner position, with all the records that he holds, everything he did his rookie year, everything he's done, not only at the Bears and even when he goes somewhere else. He revolutionized the game of football and how coaches have to cover kicks now. So when you have a player as special as he is, I think he's only deserving for first ballot. Who changed the game in the kick return game in the way he did, other than a quarterback like a John Elway or Peyton Manning at their position, who did it in the kick return position? It's not enough attention or credit to go to Devin. It's phenomenal what he was able to do. And it's still mind-boggling to see how good he actually was when you sit down and you study it. So I just think that's a no-brainer, and I hope it happens. But that's a great question.
Are there enough kickers in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. Not many. Not many at all. But definitely Devin should be in there. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.